So it isn't surprising that I love anime. I love everything about anime. The cosplay, the manga, the TV shows, the anime, everything. I love everything that encompasses anime. And of course, it kind of led me to the cyberpunk genre. And one of my favorite series of all time. Really, I'm serious. It's actually Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. I love this series. I love the morality between human and trying to become God and the technology around it. I've always loved it. But what made it great is that I found out there were actually games that I can play. But the weird thing is, why hasn't anyone heard of the PS2 version? So that's what I'm gonna look up today. Why did we forget Ghost in the Shell standalone complex on the PS2? On the eve of Toonami hype back in 2004 era, many people were exposed to an incredible amount of anime. Samurai Champloo, Gundam Wing, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, just to name a few. But there was one genre at the time that hasn't really been explored very often, and that's the cyberpunk genre. Ghost in the Shell has always been the forefront of that genre since its '95 release, and its resurgence amongst the Toonami elite only has strengthened that. Rightfully so, Bandai decided to follow suit and create a third-person game that goes behind Motoko and Bato, as well as the other Section 9 characters as they fight and defend their country from cyber terrorism. The game follows a very specific case that tracks down TAR. As to who they are and what, well, you're just gonna have to find out yourself. So that's cool, we got a third-person game. I'm not gonna expect any individual 11 or Laughing Man or even Puppet Master kind of status of story, but I'm hoping it's gonna be pretty decent. It should quench my thirst, if you will. But what kind of gameplay are we looking at for third person? Because it's 2004, you know? Resident Evil 4 kind of released all of these games, but how does something like Ghost in the Shell handle it? This is your typical third-person game and is somewhat standard of what you would expect. Most of the entirety of the game you will be playing as Motoko Kusanagi, but Bato is sure to follow as well. After a quick briefing from Section 9 Chief Aramaki, you are dispatched to your main objective, whatever it may be. Suit up, pick up your weapon, and off you go. You traverse through vertical or horizontal levels going through point A to point B with your enemy in your path, climbing and jumping and even hacking your way through the level. It's typical gameplay of what you would expect with nothing overtly game-changing or revolutionary, but it gets the job done and the point across. Surprisingly, there is a Tachikoma level where you cruise around busting up baddies, but unfortunately, it's very short-lived and ends up quickly. On top of the single player, you have a multiplayer component with two modes, Battle Royale and Team Battle, with your choice of 7 characters to choose from. I haven't really had a chance to sit down with this component since I didn't have people with me at the time, but I wouldn't ask you to run off and purchase the game due to the multiplayer after all. But there is one, and I mean one thing, that I love about anything that's Ghost in the Shell, whether it be the '95 movie, standalone complex, Innocence, any media of Ghost in the Shell, it's the fucking music. Oh my god, here we go. This is what I want to talk about. The music is literally gorgeous. And you're going to see who's going to work on this too, because surprisingly, he does a fantastic job. If you love fighting games, you'll love to hear this. Music and Ghost in the Shell go together like peanut butter and jelly. Like the '95 movie and the standalone complex series before it, the PS title has a legacy of its own to follow. While we don't have Kenji Kawai, who worked on the '95 movie, and legendary composer Yoko Kanno, who also worked on the standalone complex as well as Cowboy Bebop, Nobuyashi Sano, who worked on the previous Ridge Racer and Tekken series, took the mantle of this title's music, and what a feat. Beautiful atmospheric music surrounded with a cyberpunk vibe really give the music its own feel, while contributing to the overall lore of Ghost in the Shell. Okay, just listen to that music for a sec. Oh my god. Oh my god. Even if the story and a bit of the gameplay fall short, the music is nothing short of beautiful, and I personally have caught myself blasting the soundtrack in my car from my commute to work. It's worth playing for the music and ambience alone. So the problem with a game like Ghost in the Shell is that it was released on the PS2, and as we all know, that generation, the PS2 has the worst in terms of graphics. It's true. It's not an opinion, it's actually true. Right next to the GameCube and Xbox. Xbox had the best one, but the problem is that this really had, like, I don't know, how is this compared to everything else? Does it have shoddy graphics? Does it look bad? Is there bad fidelity? I don't know. What can you tell me? It's a fine looking game with character models looking fairly detailed and animations are typically fine. Sure, there are choppy and wonky animations from time to time, but this is an anime title after all, so don't get your hopes up. FMVs, however, look pretty damn good, giving me a nostalgic feel for those old Ghost in the Shell moments and just wanted to watch up on the anime. Oh, and did I mention this is one of the few rare PS2 titles that plays both in 480p and widescreen? Make sure you have some component cables, press X and triangle at the same time after the PS2 logo, and you will toggle the 480p mode. But that's not the only thing. Go into the option menu and toggle the widescreen option. Both your screen and your eyes will thank me later. Alright, so unlike that other anime... God heck. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say anything under my breath. But unlike other anime games, I'm assuming this isn't badly priced, right? Because it looks pretty cool. And it's even got like a little nice holographic cover. And here's the best part. I'll show you this too. I'll show you this. You're gonna like this. It's double covered. You don't see that too many back in the day. And look, it's all holographic. Looks so nice. But something like this can't be expensive, right? Keep in mind the price that I give is current, and I'm pretty damn sure will start to go up a bit in price due to the interest in March with the release of the new Ghost in the Shell movie. With that in mind, let's dive into it. In a local video game store, if you can find it for a good 10 to 15, hands down pick up this title. However, on the web it does sell for about 17 to possibly 20, but don't be surprised if this goes up in the coming months. As the series becomes more casualized through the Hollywood movie, new fans of the series will start to read up through the original sources, music, and of course will lead up to the game. The title is worth a playthrough or two at best, so make sure when you are making your purchase, you are purchasing for the experience of the single player and the killer soundtrack with gorgeous Mary Elizabeth McGlenn's voice acting.
All of us fight in the name of what we believe to be just and ethical. If you ask me, nothing else is worth following.
So let me get this straight, alright? We have a pretty decent story, not puppet master status, but it's a decent story nonetheless. We have decent graphics, we have good gameplay, and we have good music. Why in God's name did people forget this? Seriously. That's what I want to know. That kind of peeved me. There's no way a game as chill as this has been completely forgotten in the norm. Tell me why. There are quite a bit of factors that could possibly dictate why many people do not talk about this title. Maybe they never heard of it or knew its existence, or maybe it came out at the wrong time. However, one thing is true though. As popular as the Gits franchise is, 2004 was an infancy age for anime, and the game applied to a specific audience. Contrary to what we have now like Crunchyroll or Funimation, anime was still a growing medium, and it was still very niche in the US. The game only applies to the fans of both the series and gamers alike. You can't be one without the other, and that's what could have been its downfall. Just the wrong place, at the wrong time. The title itself sold for about 45,528 units within its first week, so it should paint a better picture of the demographic back in the day. And even if popularity was higher, the game is somewhat of a decent title. It didn't have anything notable of it. Average gameplay and story doesn't leave a huge impression with the music taking a stand. But that doesn't mean you should forget about it either. Give it a shot, maybe you'll enjoy what you play. Oh, so that makes a lot more sense. It was just wrapped in the anime thingamabobby. I can't think of the names, but it was wrapped in that it just wasn't getting that much notoriety. It is what it is. But you know what? If you guys haven't played Ghost in the Shell, sincerely give it a shot. It's a chill game. I genuinely like this a lot, not only as someone who likes the series, but it is a fun playthrough. So give it a playthrough once or twice. I think you'll like it. It's fun, and that's what gaming should be. So that's what you should check out. But thank you guys so much for this edition of Why Did We Forget? If you're interested, please like, subscribe, and comment if you can. Share it amongst with your friends. If they love Ghost in the Shell, if they haven't heard of this title, let them know. I think they'll like it, and you'll like it too. And it'll help me out a bit because, you know, it's getting me up and coming. So thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna check you out on the next video.
I'm telling you, brother, this shit's amazing.